Hello, welcome to this episode of 10 at 10. Usually, we do wait a little bit for people to kind of fill in a little bit, so we don't usually get started quite yet. But we'll start with the introductions. I'm Spencer Koppel. I'm a digital specialist here at Key Media Solutions.
And I'm Madison. I am a digital strategist, and bear with me with my voice. I just got a week of PTO and used my voice the whole time, so it's slowly coming back. But we are going to talk as usual about social media today. And I think we're going to just kind of jump right in because Spencer and I have a lot to talk about today. There's
Yeah,
a
there's
lot
a
of
lot
stuff
to
in the
cover.
news. So if you, are, yeah, I'm going to say if you're just jumping on, you can, um,
And like
or if you're
usually,
watching it out.
too, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat because there is a lot of stuff changing and there's a whole lot of stuff that we don't even know. But if you want us to research it, or maybe we do know it, feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll try to address it with what we know.
Yeah, we put a lot of research in today. I'm going to cover what's going on with TikTok, and I will say I used probably 4 or 5 different sources, and not all of them were the same. So it's been kind of interesting for us. So yeah, we're super open to questions. If you're watching this after the fact, feel free to comment or shoot us an email at info@keymedia.solutions, and we will get back to you.
Yep.
Um, but without further ado, I'm going to jump right into TikTok because there is a lot going on, and I can't believe we've been talking about it for this long. It's been
Like a
giving us
year.
lots of content to talk about at least, but yes, we do have an actual update that is not just a ban extension once again. So if you are not familiar, there's been this ongoing ban. It started in Biden's administration, and then Trump has been kind of extending that on and on. But they want the U.S. control over TikTok, and there's finally an update, kind of, on what's going on. So there, it is predicted. It's still sort of in the works. Nothing's really official, which is why all those sources kind of said a lot of different things. But a new company is going to be taking over TikTok, specifically in the US, that will be controlled by a group of investors. Now, that group specifically has been, the names have kind of been different in a lot of different articles that I've been reading. So I'm just going to say I'll call them a group of investors, a group of really well known, very wealthy United States based investors will be taking over and coming out with a specific TikTok for the United States. Now, we don't really know if that's going to be a new app, if it's going to be a new software, but we do know it's going to be a new algorithm. The algorithm is going to be specifically the TikTok has been known to be an algorithm really driven by user interest, and this new algorithm has been said that it's going to be um, not necessarily based in interest anymore. It's going to be something that makes decisions on content based on interests of the businesses, based on the businesses that are sort of running and investing in this new form. This new business will have 80% U.S. stakeholder ownership. 20% will remain in China. And I think it will be 6 out of 7 board members will be from the U.S., and one of those board members will be designated by the U.S. government specifically. Um, the this executive order has been extended until the 16th while they kind of sort out some of those details. But it's going to be kind of interesting to see. We've never really seen this before. And there's a lot of different arguments kind of on each side. The argument for the US ownership is that China is infringing on our data. They have access and control to just like an endless amount of data. And then the other argument on the other side is that this new US based government owned algorithm will be a little bit of a limit on free speech and user interest. What does this mean exactly for advertisers and for users? There may be a lot of lost revenue for shops and influencers. We don't exactly know if it's all going to work the same. There's potential. I was reading that ByteDance might still remain in control of TikTok's advertising, which I find kind of hard to believe because that's kind of where the money's at. But we'll see. Potentially, they could still own it and nothing would change, or there's going to have to be another rollout after that of who's going to take over Ad Manager and Business Center and all of that. We were a little disappointed because we love to advertise on TikTok. It's gotten a little complicated each time a ban goes on. The policies have been changing, but we'll kind of see what happens. There might be some potential lost revenue, and we do really encourage anyone who has a lot of money invested in TikTok ads to start differentiating a little bit and making sure to invest in some other platforms, just so in case usership drops off or the ads are not available in the US anymore, you can be a little bit more prepared.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
definitely it'll be interesting to see how it plays out too. It reminds me a lot of like AI when that first started being rolled out. I feel like when it first came out, it was almost like the Wild West, where it's like you could ask like
mhm.
any prompt and it would be like, here you go. Whereas now it's a lot more reeled in. So it'll be interesting to see if TikTok kind of goes that similar route where, are we in the Wild West right now of TikTok? And then, will it, once this goes into effect, will it just be like a lot more, boxed in kind of formulaic?
Yeah, and I think that the implications are really interesting as well because most major social media platforms came from, are in the US.
Mhm.
And so I hope it doesn't discourage any other outside countries to, innovate in that space, but we'll see. Maybe that will be discouraging, or maybe we'll see a rollout of new innovations in social media that are not rolled out in the United States, or maybe this will set the precedent for what's going to happen if it does.
Yeah,
So,
no, we'll definitely see.
yeah, lots of unknowns, but December 16th, hopefully we'll kind of know what's going on. But we'll
Yeah,
keep you updated.
we'll say that, but then it'll keep on making more 10 at 10 content because it'll keep on getting pushed. But who
You'll
knows?
probably be back next month with a whole new update, but we'll see.
Probably.
Mhm.
But yeah, no. So kind of continuing with some TikTok news. This is a little bit more lighthearted, not so much of the potential shutdown of it. This is just kind of cool new tools that they're having for advertising. So this is specifically targeted to like travel related ads. So if you're a hotel, you have flights, destinations, anything like that, you're able to kind of actually have ads that are focused on that and focused on people that are going to potentially be going to your location. So it's kind of cool that they're able to. It's called Smart AI system is what they're using, and it's kind of able to leverage that potential audience that might be coming into where your company is or your business is. So it's kind of a cool little thing that's going on, and kind of like we've been saying is it's cool to have these tools, but make sure you have kind of a little diversification on your, not just on Snapchat, make sure you have other places too, just in case. But yeah, no, it's kind of cool little tools that they're rolling out, and it'll be interesting to see how, yeah, with the potential shutdown going on, will they kind of tone it down a little bit on some of the new advertising tools that they have? Will it, there's so much up in the air right now. It's just an interesting time to be
Yeah, it's
advertising.
kind of a bummer. I actually utilized one of those AI campaigns in
Mhm.
TikTok, and I was really really impressed with the results. We got a decent amount of conversions and about a 0.75 percent click through rate by using those AI audiences, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that actually impacts digital ads on there too. Just,
Mhm.
yeah, if people do fly off the app, if they go somewhere else and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so they are still continuing to update the ads. So we'll see and we'll play it by ear. We'll keep you guys updated with what we actually hear and what we see. And then continuing on, so some extra info that when I was researching for this, I thought was interesting. So about 53% of U.S. adults say that they get at least some news from social media. Um, so that includes like Facebook being 38%, YouTube 36%, and then the rest being TikTok, Instagram, those kind of places. I just thought it was kind of interesting that a lot of people are getting their news or at least some news from social media compared to how it probably looked before, where people were looking at cable television, those kind of things. So it's kind of interesting that people are on those platforms a lot more and looking for resources on news sources. So kind of just something interesting. And similar to previous point is it'll be interesting to see how that might shift in the coming months of if it does get bought out and how that goes. Will that potentially skew that more? Who knows? That kind of stuff. Just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to include. And then lastly, this has kind of been a hot topic of, I think it was announced Monday on Snapchat. So previously they had a thing called Memories, where if you were on Snapchat, you took a photo or a video, you'd be able to save it onto the platform itself. Previously, you were able to have unlimited storage. So I've had an account on Snapchat since like 2013. So I have photos saved from 2013 onward. So recently, they have made an adjustment where they're going to start charging for storage on Snapchat itself. It's not a crazy amount, but it's something that was previously free that a lot of people are kind of a little upset about. Just because somebody like me, where I have photos on there from since like 2013. So I have a lot of photos on there, a whole lot of storage I'm potentially using on their server. So that's something that Snapchat's kind of rolled out with it being a tiered system. So they have one called Memories Only, where it's about 100 gigabytes and it's $2 a month. So that gives you, 200, or it's 100 gigabytes of storage of your photos and memories and stuff like that, all the way up to the 5 terabyte option was about $16 a month. Which is quite a bit, but for some people that if they use Snapchat as their platform for saving photos, I'd read online that some people actually used it for their photo storage, like think like Google Photos or iCloud that people use for saving their photos. People were using Snapchat for that. So it's just something that they're starting to roll out, and it makes sense from a business perspective that they'd want to do that. It's just something that they've always had, and it just kind of, for some people, it's just upsetting that they're getting rid of it. But on the bright side, so it looks like users will get free 5 gigabytes. So it's not a whole lot of storage, but a decent amount. And for users that are using a whole lot of storage, there's about a 12-month grace period that you'll have where your photos are still there. Similar to TikTok, where your photos, you'll have time before it actually goes away to get those saved. So just make sure that if you do have any photos saved on Snapchat, to get those saved on your phone or get them saved externally somewhere else.
I'm interested if there was a drop in ad revenue at all that kind of shifted them to this paid source, or sort of what caused that shift, or maybe they're just like tired of hosting all the free stuff.
It's probably just tired of hosting. I know servers are super expensive. Mostly, like somebody like me, I seriously, I probably have 5,000 photos on Snapchat. Like anytime I take a photo of my cat, it is saved to the cloud. So it's definitely a whole lot of people like me where they're just like, this is expensive and we should probably charge them for it. Mostly when it's just, I could save it on my phone, that kind of stuff, or they can be making some money off of it. So I get where they're coming from. Just as a user, it's just like, man, I've been using this since 2013. It's upsetting you're getting rid of this service, but at the same time, I get it. Like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I was just, Spencer and I were talking before this, and I think I said revolutionary, but like not in like an exciting and fun way, but like just such a different time in social media right now. We're seeing so much. It's like the Wild West, I think is what you called it. Yeah, there's a lot of Wild West going on in lots of different platforms. It'll be interesting to see. I kind of think we might get some new social media platforms in 2026.
I think so too.
That's my prediction, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely see. I think a lot of it is just kind of like, a lot of social medias will see one doing something cool and like, oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. So it seems like a lot of them are very like, a lot of them are same but different. I wonder if we'll get something else that's a little bit more organic. I feel like that's kind of what's escaped a lot of social media nowadays, is it's a lot more grand than it was before. I wonder if we'll see something that's a little bit more organic, because I don't see my like when I'm on Instagram, I don't see much of my like actual friends or people I follow. I don't see their posts too often. Same with like TikTok or anything like that. I wonder if we'll get something that's a little bit more organic to people.
Yeah, that's true. On Threads and Instagram, Facebook, all the feeds have become a lot more about discovery, which kind of drives me crazy a little bit. It's not my favorite. Yeah, which is weird because I do like that on TikTok. It's my favorite. That's what I like about TikTok is the For You page discovery. Yeah, but yeah, something about the algorithm on Meta is not my fave, but we'll see. We'll see what comes. But thank you all for joining us so much. If you are watching this after the fact, feel free to drop a question again. Reach out to us anytime. We love this stuff. So thanks for joining.
Yep. Thank you, guys.